Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Presley, editor of Catfish Now magazine. I have Bob Crosby here with me today in the studio. He's a B&M Pro Staff angler and guide on the Mississippi River. And he's got a tip for us today about bottom bouncing.
Yeah, Ron, I'm with Blue Cat Guide Service. Like you said, I fish on the Mississippi River at Vicksburg. I've been guiding now for 8 years. This September will be the start of my 9th year. I've been fishing on the river probably 25 years or so. And 8 years ago, when I decided to give this guiding a shot, I decided to try it. If I liked it, I'd stick with it. If I didn't, I'd quit. But that was 8 years ago, and I'm having a ball. I look forward to every trip. I've made some friends all over the world. We have this blues trail, Mississippi Blues Trail through the Delta, and we get a lot of people from Europe. Blues music is huge in Europe, and people come over doing the blues trail, then they want to get on the river. So I've had people from Belgium, Switzerland, France, Sweden. I've made friends from all over the world. It's been a great experience. But I know you want to talk about catfishing. And
Right.
This is September. It's prime bottom bouncing time. And I love the bottom bounce. There's 3 ways we fish on the river. We bottom bounce, we anchor fish, and we suspend fish. And bottom bounce is more hands-on. It's like bass fishing for catfish. Anchor fishing is a lot of fun. You know, you go over a hole, locate some fish, put the rods in a rod holder, sit back, relax, drink your favorite beverage, and wait for a fish to bite. But bottom bouncing, you're holding the rod the whole time. It's more hands-on. Like you feel the fish pick the bait up, just like, and you set the hook. It's just like, again, like bass fishing for catfish. But it takes the correct gear. That's very important. You need a GPS iPilot type trolling motor. When you're bottom bouncing, you turn the boat around, point it upriver, turn your trolling motor on to slow the drift down. The speed's very important. I like to go anywhere from, different people have their different speeds they choose, but I like to go anywhere from 1.6, 1.7 or slower. I have caught fish up to 2 miles an hour, but I think that's pushing it. But when the water is warm, they're more aggressive. As the water starts cooling off in the fall, they get a little lethargic. You have to get slower and slower. But anyway, the speed, you need a good depth finder that'll show you the speed so you can keep that correct speed. Let me look at my notes here just a minute, Ron, make sure I'm not forgetting something. Weights. You need a cannonball weight. A lot of people I use the bank sinkers for anchor fishing, but the cannonball weights, you have a better feel when you tap the bottom. And I keep a good inventory of 3-ounce through 10-ounce weights in my boat. You know, the higher the river, the swifter the current. So some places you can get by with a 3-ounce. Some places you need a heavier weight to stay on the bottom. So it just depends on where you're fishing. And one of the most important things is your rod. Anchor fishing will use a heavier rod than bottom bouncing. But I've tried every rod on the market. And if you get a rod that's too heavy, it wears you out. You're literally doing this for hours and hours on end. Excuse me, Ron. Let me get a drink of coffee here. But and if your rod is too stiff, you can't feel the strike. If it's too limber, when you pick the rod up, you don't pick the weight up. Your rod just bends. So it's important to have a good a good bottom bouncing rod. And I don't know if you can see it, but I love this B&M
Oh, yeah.
Pro Staff bumping rod. It's made specifically for bottom bouncing. And also the reel, there are a lot of good reels on the market. I'm not promoting one reel over the other, but you need a line counter reel. The line counter reels only cost about 10 or 15 bucks more than a regular reel. And if you've got several people bottom bouncing, if somebody loses the bottom, say you and I are fishing, you lose the bottom. I look at my line count and say, Ron, I've got the bottom at 160 feet. So if you're shy of that mark, you can let line out or take line in.
Those are great tips, Bob. So there you go, folks. Get yourself the right gear. Get out there and bump up some of those fall catfish. That's your B&M Poles tip of the month. Fish with passion.